Good day, everyone. This is Pilot Needles, and welcome to DDO Players News, where we take a look at the latest news in DDO and on the tabletop. Please welcome my co-host from Ravenloft, Dracula.
Hey now, everybody. How's it going?
Hello there, Drac. How are things going in Barovia?
Yeah, not bad. Survived
N-
Thanksgiving, so that's good.
You survived Thanksgiving. All right. The locals didn't decide to dine on too many of your bats.
No, they actually left the bats alone this year, so I consider that a win.
All right. Then let's head into our game news, where we'll begin with a new item, the Wish of Inheritance.
Also known as the latest controversy in DDO. Yay,
Oh,
controversy.
what does it do?
Oh, God. The Wish of Inheritance is the new item that was introduced to the DDO store. This item will allow a one-time use of changing the binding state of an equipable item from bound to character to bound to account. And then after you use it on the item and another character equips that item, it is once again bound to character again.
Right. And what is the controversy relating to this?
Uh, just that you're paying to do this, and then it binds it again. So if you want to hand off the item to a different character, guess what? You have to buy this yet again and do the same thing.
Well,
And then, the,
I
the
suspect it's not intent. I mean, I guess people are constantly going around trying to pass them all to alts or something like that.
yes, yeah, that's because yeah, I think people were reading a lot more into it than what it was. People, I think, were reading into it. Oh, hey, this is going to allow me just to keep passing items around to my characters. No, if you read the description of how it worked and what we just talked about, you knew that it locks it back again. I don't know.
Mm.
I'm not super jumping up and down about this anyways.
How much does it cost?
So, I was trying to look. I forgot now. Because I knew you were going to ask me that. Give me one. It's basically like $30. It's like 2,995 DDO points.
You don't want to use it too often.
So $30 basically. So
Yeah,
you're paying $30 to unlock an item on one character to give it to another character.
I think I'll pass.
Yeah, and like I said, I don't.
Yeah.
Oh God, I can't even think.
Unless you're drowning in points.
Right, and I can't even think if I have any items that I would be like, oh yeah, now I can pass this to X character. Not really. I mean, I don't really have anything that's super locked to a character that I'm really concerned about. So yeah, definitely not for me. I wasn't that excited about it. Some people were excited about it, others not so much.
It's like, I don't think I have any item that I would consider so powerful that it's a must for another character or anything like that.
Right, exactly. That's about the same boat I'm in. So, anyway, this is available now. It's in the store. 2,995 DDO points. So, if you have some points, you were saving them maybe during the Black Friday sale, which is now over. You bought some points and got some double points, and you're looking to spend them. There you have it. But new item in the store. Yay? Question mark.
Yay. All right. Then let's then look at to the annual event, the Festivult, and it is, of course, because it is December, on its way.
It is. The Jester will soon be making an appearance. Cordovan did answer a post over on the forums that said Festivalt is coming soon. Assuming we are able to get the patch out this week, stay tuned. The plan is to start coin drops this Thursday and then have the Jester on the 12th. Coin drops will end in this schedule on the morning of January 6th through January 5th, with the Jester leaving a week later on the 13th.
Mm-hmm.
So coins are coming, and the Jester is a coming. Festival time is nearly upon us.
Ah, yes, one of those things I always forget about.
until you start getting coin drops, and then you're like, oh yeah, it's festival time again.
Uh,
And then I
well,
always
yes.
remind you, go get cookies. And you're like, oh yeah, I should go get cookies. I think we have
And
this conversation every year.
yeah, we probably do.
I'm pretty sure we do.
Hmm. Let's then look at the DDO Chronicle, which is basically a link, it looks like.
Yeah, they kind of cheated. I
Oh,
understand why they cheated, but they cheated on the Chronicle. Yes, this is the Hardcore League wrap up DDO Chronicle. Every person that made it to level 5 has their name in the Chronicle,
red.
kind of. You're in the Chronicle if you click on the link to look at the list. So then again, I understand because there was a crap ton of people that made it to level 5.
I have a feeling they're going to think of something else for level 5 next time.
And I know when we first talked about that was going to be a thing, we both discussed how in the world are they going to do this in the Chronicle?
Yes.
So this is how they did it. So congratulations to everybody that made it to level 5. Go ahead and check that list out if you want. Just click on the Chronicle, then click on the big click here for the list. And you will get the list of all the level 5s that survived in the Hardcore League Season 1. Jumping in to our news. Well, there's our news. There you have it. Yeah, the Chronicle was pretty slim this week. We did have the bonus days, which as of now are over. The Black Friday sales, which are over. So that's really all we have. We do have a Chronicle comment, though. So that's good.
Hmm.
What is the best way to die in the Hardcore League?
The best way to die in the Hardcore League.
I would say this is very subjective to how what you would consider would be a good death.
Yeah,
Because I can think of several ways to die, but not the best way to die.
I mean, for Hardcore League, the entire point is not to die. So it's hard to think of a single
True.
best way.
True. I think the best way to die would be jumping off of a very high height without featherfall. That would be a cool best way to die in the Hardcore League.
Jumping from a great height without featherfall.
Yep. Not that I might have accidentally done that on the Hardcore League. Just it was. Let's just say it could be a best way to die in the Hardcore League. Not that I would know anything about it,
Not that you know a
because it didn't
single
happen to me at
thing.
all.
All right.
Once, allegedly. Again, allegedly.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Let's just say I thought about it. I'm like, that'd be a pretty cool way to die. Allegedly.
Allegedly, it will be a cool way to
Throwing
die.
that out there. Allegedly falling without featherfall.
Uh-huh. Maybe you should take a little walk in a snowy snowscape in a forest.
Like our screenshot of the week from Ebba Bell, maybe. She looks forward to the winner in the 442nd DDO screenshot of the week. Thanks again, Eva, for sending in the screenshot. Once again, what I always say holds true. If you want a good shot at making screenshot of the week, always go with the screenshot of new content. This features a horse. I'm guessing this. I'm not sure where the screenshot is. I don't remember there being snowy areas in Borderlands, so I don't think this is in
I
the Borderlands.
think there's one in the
Yeah, I
Borderlands.
can't remember there being snowy areas in the Borderlands. But see, it's got a horse, so it's new content. I've always said, if you want a good shot at being in the screenshot of the week, it's not a guarantee, but I bet you'll have a good shot if you choose new content to do a screenshot of.
All right. So that means that it's probably not a good idea to do something from Korthos.
Probably not. I mean, not saying you couldn't win. If you get an amazingly awesome screenshot, you're probably going to win. But I think you have a better shot if you would choose to do some new content. Like,
Very...
in a few weeks when the Jester shows up, If you maybe would take a selfie with the Jester in a cool looking screenshot, just saying, I bet that might have a good chance of winning. You
Just
watch.
by
I
yes.
get watch. I will put it out here right now. It is on the record. It is being recorded. We are going to get a Jester screenshot of some type in the next couple of weeks. We'll see if I'm right.
All right, we shall see this. Now, are there any store sales that aren't related to Black Friday?
Yes, that is the Get a Boost 25% off sale. Sovereign XP elixirs, always good. Treasure Hunters elixirs, always good as well. Slayer Boost, or excuse me, Greater Slayer Boost, always good on sale. And long lasting Supreme Ability Potions, meh. Those are 25% off through December the 5th. Coupon code gets you a free lasting water breathing potion. 5 of those potions. Be Water. Bewater. Be Water. Now through December the 5th as well.
Then, with that done, let's go and see what's coming in from the dungeon. And it looks like it's more like this week on what's not coming from the dungeon.
What's leaving the dungeon?
As leaving the dungeon, yes, because apparently Cubicle 7 has decided to drop the Middle Earth license and not renew it.
Yeah, well, I don't know if decided not to was the best
Well,
way
I
to
got
put
the
that, but
I got the impression that the decision was because their partner wasn't working.
yeah, they're having a dispute, which I tried to find out the whole dispute, and it's not really public what exactly is going on. All that we know is Cubicle 7 did partner with Sophisticated Games in 2010 to publish The One Ring, and then Ergo a little bit later on, Adventures in Middle Earth. Uh, the Sophisticated Games is the one that actually holds the license to publish role-playing games based on Lord of the Rings.
Ooh, okay, that bit I didn't know about.
Yes, Cubicle 7 actually does not have the license for Lord of the Rings and Tolkien stuff in role-playing games. That is Sophisticated Games.
Ah, now
So,
I see why you worded it the way you did.
yes. So they partnered with Sophisticated Games. They brought out The One Ring. It was a smash hit. They brought out Adventures in Middle Earth. That too was a smash hit. They just announced not too long ago One Ring Second Edition was coming out.
So
Not so much anymore. They are cease working with their partner Sophisticated Games. Cubicle 7 did say, we have some very unfortunate and unexpected news to share. Contractual differences arose recently and we have been unable to resolve them. And so we have decided to end our licensing agreement with Sophisticated Games. It is with regret that we have made it this very tough to withdraw. This means we will cease publishing The One Ring and Adventures in Middle Earth in the first half of 2020. Unfortunately, that doesn't give us enough time to release the much anticipated One Ring Second Edition. So they did offer refunds, which this is a nightmare for Cubicle 7 at this point.
nightmare is going to be an understatement.
So they did offer refunds of it to kind of offset some of the potential losses that they were going to take. Because I'm pretty sure I'm just saying, I can't see how Cubicle 7 is going to bounce back from this, because I know they made a lot of money on those pre-orders because a lot of people were excited about the second edition of the War Wing. A lot of people pre-ordered. So they're trying to offset some of the damage of that by offering customers 125% of the value of their pre-order in the Cubicle 7 store credit. So if you pre-ordered from Cubicle 7 and instead of getting your money back, you can get 125% of your money back in store credit. So then you can go buy anything else from Cubicle 7, which they have a lot of other games. Just they
Okay,
were.
I was wondering about that.
Oh yeah, they They have the Warhammer fantasy role playing game. They have Doctor Who role playing game. They have, I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Yeah, they have a bunch of stuff. They have some other board games and stuff too. So uh, hopefully Cubicle 7 will be okay after this, but this is like not good for them right now. So as I said, they did kind of offset it, 125% of the value of the credit. They did say emails with instructions for any pre-orders, refunds were already sent out to customers. If you, for some reason, pre-ordered and didn't get that email from Cubicle 7, they would kindly ask you to email them at info@cubicle7games.com. And then you can get that refund, or you can take the 125% pre-order store credit and buy some other stuff. I did reach out to Sophisticated Games. They did not email me back. So, interesting turn of events, but sadly, no more Wondering, no Wondering second edition. And I think the biggest loser out of all this is No More Adventures of Middle-earth. Because what Cubicle 7 was doing with Adventures of Middle-earth is they were taking all of the Run One Ring content and they were converting it to their Adventures of Middle-earth system, which is basically 5e. It's like 5e on the OGL with a little bit of tweaks. So they can still, from what I understand, and I did send my rep at Cubicle 7 an email, and I haven't heard back as of this recording. I think they can still sell their stock that they have. They just can't produce anything new, is how I understood this to be.
Yeah. Well, that's the way it usually goes.
Yeah, exactly. And I was going to say, and if you look back in history, as it were, with other companies that this has happened to, they can sell through their stock. You're just not going to see anything new. So it's not like, coming in early 2020, like poof, all this is going to disappear. And then if you want it, you're going to have to go on eBay and pay thousands and thousands of dollars for it. Merp, well, I'm looking at you.
It depends on how much stock they have, because games don't historically have huge amounts of stock.
Yeah, that's very true. So I would suggest if you want anything Wondering or anything Adventures of Middle-earth, I would probably order it now, buy it now.
Now, here's my question, and that is, what is the usual rule these days relating to PDF versions of products?
I think
do they go poof the day the license goes away?
No, I think it's kind of the same thing. They're just not going to get updated. They can still sell them, I think. But see, that's another question that I did email Cubicle 7. I asked them, is the PDF still going to be around? I don't know. From what I understand, it's just kind of like the physical book. You just can't produce anything new, but you can go ahead and sell. And then I'm assuming at some point you have to put an end date on the PDF. Is how I would assume it works.
Right. Because I know that when they bring up old content, I think with some other games, usually if they don't have the license anymore, PDFs are one of the things that they don't put up to them. If they're role-playing it has a lot of generic stuff plus some licensed stuff.
Right, yeah. So hopefully either Cubicle 7 or Sophisticated Games will reach back out to me and I can find out the exact answer, but this is just sad all the way around.
Yeah. And that means then we'll have to go to what hopefully won't be as sad, and that's because we go and look on what's on the screen. Where Dungeons & Dragons movie that they're thinking of is going to be looking at the Eye of Vecna.
Is it some 2021 yet?
It
is it
not. We got about 18 months, I guess, to go.
Oh, man. Yeah, I was kind of excited for the D&D movie, a little trepidation I had about it. I'm like, what are they going to do? When I heard this was going to be about the Eye of Vecna, I'm like, sign me up. Let's go right now. Let's do this thing. We've kind of been talking about the D&D movie since about December, about this time of
2 years ago.
2017. Yeah, about 2 years ago, right around this time, we did announce there was a new D&D movie. I've had a few little minor updates since then, but no like major news. Comicbook.com somehow scooped the big news about the movie that the upcoming Dungeons & Dragon movie is going to feature at least one character with ties to the Forgotten Realms and is going to focus on a quest for the iconic magical object. Yes, they are looking for the Eye of Vecna.
Why anyone would want to search for that thing is beyond me, but that's
Because why would you not, Pine Leaf?
well, any artifact that requires you to mutilate yourself in order to use it.
But it's the Eye of Vecna, man. I would do it in a heartbeat. Wouldn't even think about it. I'd be
I
like,
guess that explains that night of the dinner table sequence where they were looking for the head of Vecna.
that's right, exactly. Yeah, I love that. So yeah, if you're not familiar with, I would think anybody listening to the show would know, Vecna is a very powerful lich that basically turned into a god whose hand and eye were removed from him. They grant unspeakable power to anyone who wields them, but as Pineleaf said, to use them has a terrible cost. In order to use either the hand or the eye, you must remove your existing eye or your hand and then replace it with the Eye of Vecna or the Hand of Vecna. Uh,
Well, if you're lucky, well, lucky is a relative word here. You'd be someone who already does it, who already has a missing eye, so it's not going to affect you as much.
True, but I did have in one of my, like a long time ago, I think we were playing, might have been playing second edition. I didn't think we were playing, no, we were playing third edition. I had a Oathbreaker Paladin, which that was even before that was even an actual class. The DM just let me do it because I talked to him and I'm like, dude, this is what I want to do. And he's like, okay, this should be fun. Let's do it. So I had a Paladin. We ended up finding the Eye of Vecna. And right there in the place where we found it, looked at my party and said, you guys should really like fear me about right now. And I literally took my eye out and popped the Eye of Vecna in my head. And I didn't tell the people I was playing with at the time I was going to do it. The only one that knew, the DM is the only one that knew I was going to do it. And they freaked out. They literally, like, one of them literally stood up and said, no, you did not just do that. And I said, oh, hell yeah, I just did that. So yeah, so that was fun. So that's why I'm kind of looking forward to this movie now. Also, not just that, but we're getting a dragon, Pine Leaf.
A dragon? Well, okay. What a shock. A dragon in a movie called Dungeons and Dragons.
We're getting a dungeon and we're getting a dragon, Pine Leaf. What more do you want in a D&D movie? But yeah, comicbook.com, I should say, exclusively reported as well that Paramount is looking for a male actor to voice the dragon Palarindusk, a dragon that lives in the Forgotten Realms. He hasn't played any major roles in any D&D adventures, but the dragon was named in several D&D source books as the protector of the village of Irithimble. Sure, let's go with that. Who concealed his true identity as a gold dragon. I am going to be honest, I've heard the name, but I couldn't tell you anything about this dragon other than what I just said right there.
Well, gold dragons don't exactly make center news in D&D adventures, considering that they're not the big person in the dungeon that you're trying to kill.
Right, exactly. Yeah, because gold dragons tend to, well, I can't say they tend to be good, but they're not usually...
Well, they do tend to be good, and they tend. And
Yeah, I
as
mean,
protector of a village, then
right.
this one will be particularly.
They're not the ones that are, once you see them, they're going to kill you. And usually they polymorph into like a human or into something else, so you really don't know they're a dragon anyway. Yeah. Other than most of the time they give themselves away, but that's...
Yeah, it's sort of like how many times did I do that quest in the marketplace before I realized that the quest giver was a dragon.
Oh, you're kidding me! That's hilarious. Okay, that's funny. That's hilarious. But yeah, with this edition of The Dragon, that does mean that the movie will take place in the Forgotten Realms. The comicbook.com source also indicates that the dragon is going to act as an ancient leader of a group of Tradidic knights. In D&D lore, these knights are followers of the god Torn and Tyr. So there you go, fans of those, rejoice. They are also looking for more actors for the movie. Also, I don't know who the source is for comicbook.com, but they feel really good about reporting this stuff. So we'll see if this actually... I should have said it at the beginning. This is a unnamed source that comicbook.com reported, but I know that...
unnamed source.
Yes, but... comicbook.com has reported other things, not just about movies before. I mean, they've done a bunch of other stuff about movies, but they've done stuff about comic books and books before that actually did turn out to be true.
Okay.
So there's that. But they also indicate that the D&D movie is going to feature a group of adventurers led by Raven Hightower, who is a warrior with a magic flame sword that's haunted by his sister's death. The characters are going to include the half-dragon, Hack Cornsway, the gnome thief Olivian Thickfoot, and a masked warrior named Alicia Steelsong, who is set to take over Palarian Dusk's role when the dragon dies. Additionally, the main villain of the movie is a male drow named Razor Horthbar, who once kept Raven and his sister as slaves. Also going to feature a female tiefling named Daliamar and a brutish warrior only known as the Beast. My only question is, why do all villains have to be the drow? Drows are people too, you know.
Well, you remember, you are in the Forgotten Realms.
I know, but still, I'm just saying, not our drows are evil. I mean, come on.
Oh, yeah. So... There's this long list of Forgotten Realm drow that aren't evil.
I can name you one.
Yes, so could I.
Two, if you count our Waterdeep Dragon Heist game. My drow's not evil.
Oh, wait.
I mean, sure, okay, I worship Loth, but...
You're playing the character, aren't you?
Yeah, I am.
Not exactly what I'm going to call a goody-two character.
I'm not exactly evil. I mean, come on now.
Not exactly.
Come on now. But yeah, so take this with a grain of salt. But as I said, they have comicbook.com has been right about a lot of other things like this. So we'll see. Yeah. Summer of 2021 is how long we have to wait. So well, good right. Lord.
That's right. You're not evil. You're the other neutral.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. There you go. We'll go with that. Darn it.
Let's head to our weekend game. Drac, what were you up to?
Well, over on Argo, have a level 10 ranger that started the Mist of Ravenloft. This is with Mythery. As we were playing on the Hardcore League, we had so much fun playing on the Hardcore League, we decided, you know what? We should play on Argo together. So we created like a little, I guess you could call it a static group. I don't know. It's just Myth and I. But we're hopefully going to play at least once a week, maybe a couple times a week. We'll play it by you, see how it goes. But we're starting with level 10s that we had, and mine just happened to be a ranger. I know, shock of all shocks. It was either going to be a ranger or a rogue, right? This one happened to be I did have a rogue, though, but for some reason I went with the ranger. But anyway, so we decided to start out in Ravenloft since we were level 10. So we did Into the Mist, we did Death House, and Fresh Baked Dreams. Been a while since I've been over in Ravenloft, so good to be home, as it were. So we are going to have a little invitation to dinner and meet the Count the next we play. And DDO-wise, that's really all I did. I played a bunch of tabletop, though. a lot of tabletop. It helped that it was the Thanksgiving holiday and Black Friday. So on Thanksgiving, was with my family and brought some board games to check out. The first thing we played was Horrified. They had not played it yet. I had been hyping it up to them for a while now, and they all told me that it lived up to my hype. They really, really enjoyed Horrified. We played a 4-player game. We were facing the Wolfman, the Invisible Man, and the Mummy. So we did a 3-monster game. We won, but it came down to the very, very end. Our terror track was at 9, and we had 2 cards left. So it did come down to the end. We didn't think we were going to pull it off, but we managed to do that. If you have not played Horrified, you need to rectify that right now. I'm telling you, Horrified is amazingly designed. Wonderful, wonderful game. Of course, that is from Ravensburger. You can pick that up most anywhere. I've seen it at Target. I've seen it at Walmart. Of course, you can get it online, Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Cool Stuff Inc., all the original places that you should be able to shop online. You can get Horrified, so everybody enjoyed that. And then we played It's Blunderful. It's Blunderful. This is a brand new game coming from Bicycle Games. Excuse me, I should say Games by Bicycle is how they refer to them. If you're thinking Bicycle, why does that sound familiar? You know the playing card company that makes all the playing cards, Bicycle cards? That's them.
Card company.
Yeah, okay. The United States Playing Card Company, they make bicycle cards. It's them. They have a game division now. They have a couple games out. This is one of them. Look for a full review of this because this was a review copy that we were playing. They sent it to me right after Gen Con. Just took me forever to actually get it played. Sorry, Bicycle. Review coming soon. If you're out there listening, which I doubt you are, but your review's coming soon. This is a party game. It's pretty simple to play. It's loads of fun as well. What it is it's a party game where you are betting on how others are going to respond to an awkward situation. So everybody has a score track, and the point of the game is you're trying to get to 100 points. And what you do is one person is the person that's going to read the question, so they grab the top card. They read the question, and then they're secretly going to choose how you would answer the question. And you have choices of A, B, or C. So, and then other people are going to bet on their score track on how they think you're going to bet. So if they think you're going to answer A, they're going to put their bet card on A. So they're going to bet, say, 5 points, 10 points, 15 points that you're going to bet on A. Are you going to bet on B or bet on C? And then after everybody bets, once everybody has their bets laid down, the person that read the question flips over their answer card, and then you see if it's A, B, or C. So it's pretty simple game to pick up, really fun to play. It was a load of fun. We were having so much fun playing it, and there was a lot of conversation that came up with it. Like, for example, we'll say, let's see, let me just pick, I actually have my cards right here. Let's see, here's a good one. You found out your ex just won the lottery. So that's the question.
Your ex just won the lottery.
So your answers can be A, you suggest a meeting for coffee, and then suggest you take a quick trip around the world. B, tell them you hope their money can last a lot longer than their personality because your personality sure didn't last with you very long.
Ouch.
Or C, ask for their hand in marriage. So those are your choices. So then you would say, okay, if that were me, and you're putting yourself in the situation. So you're saying, okay, if that was me, how would I answer that? And then the other players are going to pick your what they think, how you're going to answer, and then, as I said, once everybody bets, you turn over your answers and see if it's right. The game we played, there wasn't really any quote unquote adult type questions, so it's pretty safe to play with kids. I mean, there is some there was some suggested things in it. There was some like suggested talk about sex and stuff like that. So, but it wasn't like, like Cards Against Humanity or whatever, where it's like just straight out, oh my god, I was actually playing with my sister, and I wasn't that offended at any of the questions. But the first person to reach 100 wins. The best thing I liked about it is we had loads of conversation after a couple of the questions, because like my sister and her husband, there was one question where she was for sure he was going to answer the way she answered, and he didn't. And then they were like, we've been married for 40 something years and you didn't get that right, and it's like, so it's just stuff like that can happen. So yeah, it was great.
Sir, all right. I was about to say, sort of like some of the answers you get from the Newlywed Game, except for
Kind of, yeah.
except those are newlyweds in that game, so
right. Yeah,
so
yeah,
more understandable.
yeah, yeah. It's kind of like that. So yeah, like I said, look for the full review on that coming soon. But that's called It's Blunderful. Great little party game. Played pretty quick too. It didn't take us very long to play because, like I said, you're like betting points, and you can lose points as well. Like if you bet 15 and you get the question wrong, you lose those 15 points. You can never go below 0 though, so it's not like, it's, and we had a couple points where everybody started getting questions wrong and they went back down, but they went up just as quick as they went down. So. But look for the full review of that coming soon. It's Blunderful from Games by Bicycle. And then the final game we played is Bang the Dice Game. This, of course, is based on Bang the Card Game. It's just a dice version where it plays pretty much the same as the card game, other than there's a couple new mechanics thrown into it. Plays really quick. We played I think 3 games of it. Everybody gets a character, just like in the card game. Characters have special powers that kind of help during gameplay. Once again, I'll do a full review on this as well. DB Gotchi did send me this and the expansion for it. So we'll do a full review on that, but that was Bang the Dice Game. So that was my Thanksgiving. And then, of course, those familiar with the show know on Black Friday, a group of my friends always get together and we always game. This year was no different. So we played a few board games that night. We played, the first one was Super Camelot. That comes to us from Catalyst Game Labs and Lynn Mander Studios. Once again, this was a review copy. Review of this coming soon. This is a competitive board game where players are taking turns using their favorite King Arthur characters. You are flipping tiles, you're entering designated areas, and those areas are going to get populated with monsters. Could be some interactable terrain, could be a treasure chest, and more. The players are exploring the map that you're building out. You're coming across items. You're coming across gems as you defeat monsters. Or you get a treasure chest. Monsters will drop keys. Use those keys to open treasure chests. To make sense, right? The point of the game is the first player is trying to collect 40 gems worth of points. Or you can also collect a combination of 3 magical artifacts that are placed on special designated spots on the map. These are Earth, Wind, and Fire, and then you return them to the place where you started by the castle, and then with those 3 artifacts, you can claim the Holy Grail, and you'll win the game immediately. That is pretty much how it is. So it plays pretty quick. It took us a little bit to get the hang of it. The rules are not the best, but once we finally got a grip on it, it was pretty fun. Came down to basically my friend grabbed the Holy Grail. That's how he won. My other friend and I were trying to stop him, but it was too late. He already had the stuff, and there was no way we could really do anything to stop him. But pretty fun game overall. I liked it. It's got like a 8-bit type graphic style to it. So if you're familiar with like all the old Zelda games, stuff like that, it's kind of got that feel to it. A little minor spoiler alert for the review, that kind of hurts the game a little bit. As in, the font they use on the cards is crap.
Well, I
Utter
suspect with eight
crap.
bits.
Yeah, utter crap. It is so hard to read. Like, there was a couple of spots where we had to like, what does that say? What is it? What? Is that what that says? That doesn't make any. Oh no, that's not what it says. It says this. So yeah. Minor spoiler alert for the review. They really need to work on the font, but the game is beautiful looking, and you actually build out a map with tiles, and then you have an actual 3D little castle that you put together that sits in the middle. That's where you start. That's where the grill goes in. You actually have little knight stand-ups that are on the game board that you're fighting. You have little shrubbery that you're fighting that are actual stand-ups. So yeah, fun game. As I said, look for a full review of that coming soon. That is Super Camelot. That is from Catalyst Game Labs and Lynn Vander Studios. And then we played another review game that we'll review once again coming soon. This one is called Pappy Winchester, and this is from Blue Orange Games. Pappy Winchester has kicked the bucket. Poor Pappy. He was the king of swindlers, and everybody knew he was filthy, filthy rich. His final wish was that all of his descendants would share in his fortune and the plots of his ranch, with the richest becoming the new head of the family. So that is what you're doing. The game is an auction game. You are auctioning off plots of land. They are divided. There is 19 total plots. They're divided into 7 desert plots, 6 prairie plots, and 6 forest plots. There's also a train track and a river running crossways through the land. There is an actual train that you put together and a boat that you put together. Those are really nice looking. You start the game with $8,000, and you get some secret objective cards that will be able to earn you more money as well. And then on your turn, it is really simple. The active player, whoever is the active player at the time, draws plot token at random from the stack. Then you hold an auction for that plot of land. So you just go around the table. It's like the first person bids. You have to bid at least $1,000 to start it out with, because if nobody bids on it, whoever's the active player, quote unquote, wins the plot, but still has to pay the $1,000. So you might as well just bid $1,000 to start out with, and then you just move around. So let's say we were playing a 3-player game. So let's say somebody won one of the plots for $5,000. Each player at the table got 2,000 of that, and then 1,000 of it goes into the saloon, i.e. the bank. They call it the saloon just to keep with like the Western feel. And then you just do that until there's no more plots left. There is some other things that you can do. Like I said, there's those secret objective cards. There's also other objective cards that are public objective cards that each have money as well. So you want to try to watch, okay, I see that they bid on, two plots of land that were by the water. So there's an objective card up there that I can see that it's not one of the secret ones, that if they have 4 plots of land that touch water, they'll get that 5,000 bonus dollars at the end of the game. So I'm going to try to outbid them for that to stop them from at least getting that. Or it's like, oh, hey, that plot of land there I need for my secret objective card. There's also, if it comes down to only 2 people in the duel, or in the auction, one of the people can throw down their duel token. And then that is, you get 2 duel cards. The active player, that is the auctioneer, in quotes, we'll say, shuffles those duel cards. And then each of the players that are in the duel draw a card. One of those cards shows a gun being fired. The other shows it not being fired. Whoever got the gun card automatically wins the auction, hands down, because they won the quote-unquote duel for the auction. And that's basically it in a nutshell. It was a really fun game. It didn't take us too long to play. I think maybe 45 minutes, maybe. Then again, it was kind of slow to start out, but once we actually started out with it, we're like, oh, okay, I get it now. Yeah, this is fun. So look for a review of that coming soon. Once again, Pappy Winchester. I'm going to put some, as on the YouTube version of this, I'm going to have some pictures of it that I took. The train and the boat in this game, amazing looking. So good looking. It really pops when it's on the table. And then the final game we played was Tyrants of the Underdark. Haven't talked about this one for a long time because haven't played this game for a long time. This is, of course, from Gale Force 9. It is kind of a weird conglomeration of a area control game, also a deck building game, all combined into one. We do have a review of this. I might link it in the show notes. We reviewed it way back in like 2016, I think, is when it came out. That's when we reviewed it, and that's been about the last time since I played the game too. So it's been a long time, but this game is so much fun. I forgot how much fun this is and how well of a design game this is. The only thing, I said this in my review of the game too, is the board is kind of drab looking because it's the Underdark, so it's all very, very, like lots of darks and purples. It doesn't look very good on the board until you start getting all your armies out and everything, but it starts in the Underdark by Gale Force 9, and that holds a special place in my heart because I actually won that game.
You won it.
I won, yes. But our scores came down. Man, I can't remember now. It was like the final score was something like 51 to 52 to 53 or something like that. I mean, it was a very tight game. And basically the reason why I won is just I seen that my friend was running out of armies, and when you run out of army, that's one of the conditions to start endgame. So I started getting some of the higher dollar cards in the market that I knew were going to give me a lot of points if they were in my hand at the end of the game. So I think that's the only reason why I won. I didn't have the best strategy, but I won. Dang it, I won. So that was actually the only one I gave that night. So yeah, so I won. But yeah, so that was all my board game play. A lot of board games, which is great because haven't played a lot of board games like that for a long time. So always good to get some games to the table. But I definitely would like to play Tyrants in the Underdark more. And I'm figuratively looking at my friend now who is not here, but I know he's listening. We need to play more Tyrants. So much fun. So, I know you're out there. We need to play more Tyrants. So how about you, Pyleaf? What did you do?
Right. I'll head into DDO first, where on my Dragonborn Artificer, I headed into the Stormhorns, and I ran the Tracker's Trap out in the Stormhorns. Then after that, I decided I didn't have time to run another Stormhorns adventure, and looks like we have this adventure here. Oh, here's a level 16 quest that should be easy enough. Mask of Deception. That's a level 16 quest.
Did you not remember that from when we had played that several times?
Yeah, so I will presume then that, yes, apparently I must have blotted my memory of that quest from my memory.
I think every time we have done that quest, you say, I really dislike this quest. I am never going to do this quest again.
I
and
wish
then,
I could remember making that statement because
and then
I
usually talk you into redoing it again, but you did it on your own, man.
I did it on my own. Yes, unfortunately, I forgot how bad the quest was, and I ran it. And yes, I'm hoping that the next time I have an opportunity to do this quest, I will completely not forget this time that I don't like that quest.
I particularly kind of enjoy that quest, but
Well, it's fine until you get to that room where you're suddenly surrounded by 6 billion mobs.
yeah, that room kind of sucks. I will hand you that. I will give you that room.
Yeah, right. So yeah, that didn't go very well. So then I went on my gnome artificer, where I ran in the Borderlands a treasure hunt, obstructing the orcs, cage beasts, and the hobgoblins horde. And also after that, I that's when I finally got around to leveling to level 2, which is probably just as well because I I was at the point where you stop earning experience because I was 1 XP below level 3. Either you stop learning experience or this was the wildest coincidence ever in the game. So let's just say that. Because of course normally you level immediately, but I was holding off
Right.
leveling to level 2 until I was getting ready to go into the last dungeon. So I leveled up to level 2 finally, then I went and ran Total Chaos. And surprise, surprise, I got enough XP to level up to level 3 after that.
Shocked, I say.
Yes,
Shocked.
shock, shock, shock. Amazing that I was able to earn at least 1 XP in that. And that just left and that finished up the Borderlands for my gnome artificer, who was created just solely for the purpose of running keep on the Borderlands.
We need to have our review of that here in the next week or so as well, too. Speaking of that.
Yes. Hey, maybe that could be an interesting challenge for next year is to play all races and classes through the Borderlands solo without
Oh,
hirelings.
there you go.
That's an interesting thought. And
Spoiler
as
alert for our end of the review, our end of the year review show.
yeah, well, we'll see if I actually remember that when we get around to that. Let's head into the tabletop. For the Tomb of Annihilation board game, I ran the Unwilling Key, and I was running that. I would say my biggest trouble there is that during the early parts of the game, I was constantly picking up those rooms that had essentially traps, no monsters, and encounters.
The last time I played that board game, the exact same thing happened to me. It is
Yeah,
so flippin' frustrating.
yeah, it's really especially when you're doing the Unwilling Key, where you're where the monster you're looking for is the 10th monster in the deck. Thus, if you don't get any monsters pulled, you're not going to be able to get. So therefore, I found the target location that requires me to use the key before I found the skeleton key
Oh,
because
jeez.
the skeleton key because I didn't get enough monsters in the early parts of the game to get the skeleton key. So, oh well. And then in Arkham Horror, the card game, I decided to try a short campaign with Father Matteo. So far, I have just run the first adventure, The Gathering, where with Father Matteo is not exactly what I will call isn't a combat beast sort of a goodwill and evasion,
Right.
decent intellect, but fighting is not the strong point. If you got a good spell, a good combat spell, then great. Then you could fight the monsters. So what happened in this one is I was going along and on one turn, I think I was getting all set up, ready to start on my going through things, and I pulled Amnesia, which, in case you're not familiar with Amnesia, it requires you to discard all but one card from your hand.
Oh, good grief.
Yeah, it's a really bad weakness to draw. Then on
Yeah,
the
it would be.
yeah, then on the following turn, the encounter card that I drew was to discard a random card from my hand. So now my hand was empty. All those wonderful cards that I was getting ready and getting all set up to play are now non-existent. Oh, then if that wasn't bad enough, oh, that's right, because I was at this point engaged with a monster that does really bad things to you if you have no cards.
Oh, jeez.
In one turn, I thought, well, this is nice and safe. When it first came up, I thought this is nice and safe and no problem because I've got 8 cards in my hand, the max. No way I'm going to have a problem here. And then the following turn, I literally have 0 cards in hand.
Oh, no.
Uh, that was real. And in fact, I think what happens to you in this case was just so bad. I looked at the situation so bad is I decided that I was going to that my best action was my first action was going to be because remember, I don't have anything good in combat. Oh, that's right. I believe that the bad thing that happens to you is that you cannot evade it if you have no cards. That's right. So here we go. My main thing I use against monsters is evasion. I didn't have enough fight power in order to have any hope of being able to battle against it. I can't evade it. So what do? Try to combat it and hope I pull a star or something like that? And what I decided to do, my best bet was to take a draw action and just get, and which of course gives the monster an attack of opportunity.
Of
And I
course.
decided it would be better to take the attack of opportunity than to and then evade it afterwards than any of the other options I had. And I was always
Wow.
wondering, why does someone want to take an attack of opportunity? Just in case you're Father Matteo and he's got that stupid monster on you.
Oh, jeez. Oh, Cthulhu games.
Yeah. Then when the end game came and the ghoul priest arrives and all that nasty stuff comes around, and I'm looking at what am I going to do now? And the only thing that I could think it because there's no way I was going to kill the ghoul priest because a long time ago my shriveling spell was tossed away because that was tossed with those other 7 cards when I had to throw
Well,
everything away.
of course it was.
So I didn't have any spells or anything like that that I could use against. I figured my chances of surviving combat against the ghoul priest were 0. So I did the only thing I could is I decided to run to the run into the parlor and resign because that was it. That was the only thing that I could do there. Now, fortunately, I had enough mental and physical health that I could take the 2 attacks of opportunity that I took by running into the neighboring room.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but I was able to do it, and with I believe 1 point left on each of them, I resigned and got out of there.
Holy cow. No way. Nice.
Yeah, but yeah, that was yeah, as you said, that's a Cthulhu game.
I was about to say, oh, Cthulhu games.
Yeah.
That sounds basically like every Cthulhu game ever.
Yeah. We currently have 15 supporters on Patreon, and if you'd like to help support DDO players, simply go to the donations page where you can support the Players Alliance on Patreon. There you'll find rewards, including a mention on a podcast of your choice, or even be guest with us for an episode of DDO Players News. We actually have 2 featured comments this week. One is from OTS Kubi via YouTube, and what did he say?
Actually, they're both from him.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I was on last week's episode. The first comment he left was Warlock. That literally translated means Oathbreaker. And then he also says +1 flaming dagger equals instant toast.
Yeah.
That was in response to our when we were talking about what weapon property would you want in a real life kitchen. So there you go. +1 flaming
Yeah.
dagger, instant toast.
Yeah. Literally translated means Oathbreaker. Yeah, I guess it trying to think of whether the literal translation comes out to be Oathbreaker or someone who makes oaths with the Prince of Lies, which mean with the devil.
Then again, you know, Warlocks get a bad rap,
Yes,
okay?
either way is not a good rep. I'll have to agree with that.
That's right. But yeah, I just thought that was funny. Like, literally means Oathbreaker.
Yeah,
So, yeah,
yeah, that's
true.
a good. Well, I think,
Oh, and actually, and you know what? I just looked it up.
yeah,
And the most commonly accepted etymology derives warlock from the Old English war,
yeah,
warloga, or whatever,
yeah.
meaning oathbreaker or deceiver. So there you go.
Oathbreaker or deceiver. Yeah, either one works then because an oath with the principal eyes would be deceiver, I guess.
Yeah. In early modern Scots, the word came to be used to the male equivalent of a witch.
Okay, so we got our current usage from Scots then.
Yes. According to this, we did, yes.
According to this, I guess that sort of
So there you go. Literally
makes
Old English meaning oathbreaker.
yeah.
So OTS, you are correct, sir.
Yeah, I had looked it up also, and
Oh, I'm
just
sure
to
you
double
did.
check it. Yes.
I figured you did. I was trying to beat you. That's hilarious. I knew you were looking it up. I knew you were.
No, no, I looked it up earlier.
Oh, did you? Oh,
Yes.
okay. Okay, well, then I didn't technically beat you then, I guess.
Yes. Because that's where I said the alternate etymology that I get
Oh, gotcha.
was
Deceiver.
because
Oh, okay.
the alternate version. Yes.
Well
Yeah.
played, Pineleaf.
Yes, we did not have any emails. But if you'd like to send one, you can send it to podcast at ddoplayers.com. And you can also follow us on Twitter. The Players Alliance at Players Ally, DDO Players at DDO Players, Dracula at Dracula score 72, and Pineleaf at Pineleaf Needles. And you can all follow us on Twitch, Drac at Twitch on Twitch TV's Dracula underscore 72. The Players Alliance has two shows on Mondays at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. We have DDO Players News, and on Saturday at 8:30 p.m. US Eastern Time, we have Locha Players News. And thank you for joining us because you can join us on our live shows at ddoplayers.com/live. And that is all for tonight. And this is Punny Mules reminding you to quest responsibly.